I'm Betty Banjack, and this is Look Who's Cooking. And today I have a very special guest, Jackie Iatestsa. And Jackie is, I just found this out. I've known her a little while. I just found out that she's a nurse for her parish.
Right.
And she goes out visiting, every day, or?
Well, I put in 10 to 20 hours a week, and I visit shut-ins, but we also do a lot of wellness programs, too.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we were at the same meeting, and we started talking about it. She's going to show us today, like, we haven't done too many cakes and baking and all because we don't have an oven here. But Jackie does a lot of pre-baking and then decorating, and I've seen some of her cakes, and they're really lovely cakes. I really like them. So I'm just going to sit here and watch, and you can jump in and do what you need to do.
Okay. I guess the first thing is to let you know that I had owned and operated a Baskin-Robbins for 15 years. So some of these tips, that's where I got them from. It was an excellent experience for me. So one of the easiest things I'm going to do now are just make little candy molds. And you can get these like at AC Moore, Michael's, any of those things. So I brought several of the ones I have. I have a hearts, and I have half moons. These only cost about $1 to $2 per sheet. And I have some triangles. Now I already did some leaves, and I have them filled with chocolate, and they're in the freezer or the refrigerator to get cold because of our time limit. But what I'm going to do is, I took some chocolate. Now we happen to be fortunate enough to live by a very good chocolate shop, which is Rupert's Candies. So I have the whole chocolate that I just melt down. You can use chocolate chips. You can use white chocolate. You could use butterscotch chips. You can use the peanut butter chips. Just
or you
get
can
it.
Mix them all together.
You can mix them all together. Have a good time. You can either do half and half, so that around your cake you can have white chocolate and dark chocolate, and it really looks pretty. But for right now, what I did is I melted the chocolate, and
Do you have to prepare this in any way? Or
no, you don't have to do anything to them. If you really want to, you can spray a little Pam on them, but you don't have to. They're made to pop right out. And if you put them in the refrigerator or the freezer, it is so much easier to do that. Now, I do like to melt my chocolate over a double boiler, but you can put it in the microwave. You can also use, you're in a hurry, you don't have a lot of things on hand, use Hershey's chocolate chips or whatever, the Nestle's chocolate chips, stick them in the microwave, melt them down, and
Could you melt down a regular chocolate bar?
Sure.
You know?
Because it will get harder. So I'm trying to do things that if you were on the go and in a hurry, or just found out, oh, someone's coming for dinner, you can have a fancy dessert. Maybe your son or daughter did really well at school, or had an achievement, got their driver's license. Whatever you want to celebrate, you can do something really quick and easy. But it's also for that unexpected company, or just a nice pick-me-up. Now I'm only going to fill 3 of these, and that's all you do.
And when they cool, they get real smooth.
They'll get very smooth, and they'll get very hard, and you can use them. So sometimes we say just tap them down, don't be afraid of it, and it will fill. And it also, if you noticed how it smoothed them out, and then we would put these in a refrigerator or a freezer, whichever one. Don't be afraid of it. The biggest thing when working with chocolate, though, is you never want to get water in it, because the water will spoil the chocolate, and you'll have a very difficult time with it. What I'm going to do now is I made a cake, a chocolate cake, in a crock pot. And I don't know if any of you have ever tried that, but I did bring this over to show you. This is a crock pot insert, and you put this right in your crock pot, and you leave your cake in here. There are little special directions. The only thing different is you add 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda to your mix. Other than that, do exactly what it tells you to do. Put it in your crock pot dry. Put the lid on the crock pot, and in 2 to 3 hours you'll have a nice cake. I like this cake because I can then cut it easily into several layers, and that's what we're going to do. I made a chocolate cake, and
do you use one of those fancy cutters, or you just use a knife?
I
they have
used
one
a
a
knife.
string, you know, where they can bring the string through. They're really nice.
I figure most people don't have them, and that's why I decided to try to do what everyone else would have at home.
Where would you get one of these cake things?
The cake things you can, this is a Rival crock pot insert. You can send away to Rival for it. You can also have, they also have a website. And I personally found that for $1 at a yard sale.
Boy, that was a
So
bomb.
a lot of times you can
Check
find
out
them.
the yard sales.
Yeah, flea markets, things like that. A lot of times people don't even know what it is. So you can pick it up that way.
The kitchen utensils like that you only use once or twice, and you know you really don't want, you want to get rid of them. The yard sales are the place to go look for them.
Oh,
because someone's trying to get rid of them for a quarter, and you're saving a lot of money.
Now what I'm going to do is, for a very easy icing, we're going to make a chocolate glaze. And I did bring this book. It's a very quick, easy chocolate book for those of you who like chocolate. And in the back, it's called Chocolate Glaze. And it's very quick. And he's all about chocolate. And some of his things do use cake mixes and things like that, so it's not very hard. And there's some very quick recipes. So in here I have sugar and cornstarch. To this I'm going to add some water.
Unsweetened chocolate?
Unsweetened chocolate. And we'll warm this up. Now the only thing with this chocolate is you are going to be working fairly quickly once it gets to a boil, because you want it thin, and if it gets too thick you kind of have a mess on your hands, and as it starts to cool it will start to get real thick, and we want it thin to pour it over the cake. This is one of those no-brain icings.
But the cake's gorgeous. I've seen this cake finished.
Now the cake, what I did is I took the cake, I did the crock pot cake, and I'll show you something nice about this too. And I cut it into thirds. So I have 3 layers. In the layers, I filled it with raspberry jam. I happen to like chocolate and raspberries. But you can put anything in it you want. You can put a filling in it of just whipped cream. You can put a custard in it. You can put a pudding in it. You can really put whatever you would like in it. So I just kind of fancied it up with a jar of raspberry jam that I had on hand, and I put that in the cake.
You know what an interesting combination is, and people don't like it until they try it, is chocolate and apricot.
Yeah. Okay. I've even heard of that and orange marmalade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So whatever. So whatever you feel like doing. If you are a chocolate strawberry person, put some strawberry jam or some fresh strawberries in now that they're in season. You can put that in there as well. The one thing I like about this, if your cake comes out of the crock pot or the pans and it doesn't look great, by the time you put the glaze on and everything else, it'll look fabulous and you won't have to worry about it. Okay, this is better than my stove at home. It's really coming up to a quick boil.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are shy away from these, but they're really great burners, and I say that almost every week. They look at them and they go, oh, they're so little, and they do as much, push as much effort out as a regular stove.
Yeah, they do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this to come to a good boil here, which it's starting to already. But I can see it hasn't gelled yet, and I can see pieces of chocolate, and I want that to be nice and thick and not see any of that. So I'm going to keep stirring it a little bit longer. When I take it off, then I'm going to add some vanilla extract to it. And I like to use real vanilla extract, not the artificial kind, if you can find it. And sometime, I know, I was going to say, Betty, I think you make your own.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a thing I do. I'll have to get you a bottle.
Yeah. That is, boy, if you can find that, that is really, really good. Okay. Now I can see it. It's the pieces of chocolate.
It's
they were
on
real.
The side. It's a little grainy.
It's a little grainy, and we're going to get it a little bit longer.
Oh, this is worth it. Let me tell you, this cake.
You can
is
smell
delicious.
it. Can you smell it? It smells really good.
And the whole school will smell it soon, and they'll be up here waiting, you know.
Okay. But this is the hardest and the longest part of the whole recipe, is just making the glaze. And it really isn't.
Do you bake a lot? Do you cook a lot? You said you cook every Sunday. And
Yeah, I love to cook. We don't go out to eat very much. And I love to cook for people. I love friends to have them over. And I'm actually involved in a Bible study, and every Tuesday night, we get together at someone's house and we rotate it. So that's fun, because then I get to cook for 6 people. So I really enjoy that. All right,
I have a class on Thursday nights for computers. We don't eat.
Don't you?
No,
That's the best part.
Yeah.
You know, getting together and eating with friends. Okay. Now, can you see the difference? How it's
I
getting?
can see the difference. I don't know. Maybe if you pick it up and a little bit,
I don't know.
yes.
You can see
you
it
can-
there. It's getting nice and thick, and the color is getting better. It's starting to get what we call a glossy color to it. So it's going real well. Okay. Now I'm going to get this off the stove, and then I'm just going to pour it over the cake. Now normally I would do this with the cake not on the plate, because then sometimes it goes over and kind of messes up your
I can give you
plate.
another plate.
If you have one. Okay. It was just it's a little harder. Okay, we're going to take this off, and that's the last we're going to be using that. I was going to say, you know what, Betty, it's still going to get hard. You know what, maybe then we'll move it once it's decorated.
It's a little bigger, I think, just
Yeah.
a little bigger. Who cares? Just eat it.
Yeah. There we go. Now this is the part, and what you really want to do is you want it to let it find its own path down the cake. And that's what makes this so much fun. Because it doesn't matter how it falls.
I want the piece with the most.
Most
Right.
chocolate.
I'm only kidding.
Okay. And this will usually then cover up any boo-boos that happened. So you just let it go and drop.
It's doing pretty good on that plate.
Yeah. And we'll be good cooks and use it all since we have it. And if you find a spot you think just isn't quite going, you just kind of
Push it over
push
the
it
edge.
over the edge and let it go. If you want, you can certainly take it around and smooth out the sides if you want it all over the cake. We certainly have enough glaze to do that.
Oh my. Smells great. We haven't done too many cakes on this show, so I think this is a real treat.
Okay. All right, now we're going to let this cool, and I'm going to go on to another cake. So I'll just let that go, let it sit over here, let it cool down. We'll put these under here, I guess.
Nobody take that cake.
Yeah. The other thing I had made for Betty was something that's really easy, and this is called a puff pastry. And again, it's a real quick, easy dessert. You get puff pastry, it's in the freezer section. This is Pepperidge Farm. It comes in 2 sheets. It comes frozen. It's in the frozen section. So you take it out, and what we're going to do is you take out 1 sheet, you leave it sit for about 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, you're able to roll it out with a rolling pin if you want, or cut it into sections. I just cut it into thirds. This is 1 sheet, cut it into thirds, put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes.
There's nothing in this.
There's nothing in this, okay? It's just dough. So we're going to put it here. If you have a fancy tray or something, it just makes it look that much better. You know what? I'm going to put this one there because this one's a little bit wider. So we're going to do that, and then we're just going to take plain old Cool Whip. Because I tried, like I said, to do things that were going to be easy for people. So I thought, well, you just might have some Cool Whip around the house. You can also fill this with pudding. You can really use anything that you want. Again, pudding, custard. And on the next cake, I'm going to show you a really fabulous, easy, very, very easy icing that you could also use for this puff pastry. That would be really good. Now, since the strawberries are so good, I picked strawberries today and kiwis. Strawberries and kiwis for color.
Yeah.
You can also, if they're not in season, feel free to use pineapples. Mandarin oranges are beautiful. Any raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. You're kind of going for
Can
color.
they be canned, like the pineapple and things like
Yes, right. Use the canned stuff when it's not in season. And you can use that. You can even use strawberries, orange slices. Okay, now here I have the fresh fruit, and what I did beforehand is I made a little bit of a sugar water base, and that helps to keep the fruit shiny and it doesn't get dried out and get brown. And it was a 2-to-1 combination. It was 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. I boiled it until all the sugar was gone, and then I hold on to that. I use it for decorating, and I also use it to sweeten iced tea and lemonade. Now when you're putting the bottom row down, it's not as important how you do it for color or for decorating. It's more for eating. So we're just going to lay them down. You can put them in a pattern if you want, or just put them down. And that's all we're going to do.
The puff pastry, can you use that like for chicken a la king and things like that?
Yes, you can use it for that. They have little shells that you can use also, and you would take the shells and you fill them with fruit, or you can fill them with like the things for chicken a la king. You can do anything with them. Now just for time's sake, I'm only going to do 2, but you can do 3 layers, or you could have made these layers heavier and wider, and you could have done that however it fit on your whatever you're going to do. So, but I like puff pastry. It's not real high in calories. It's very easy to work with. I once made my own puff pastry. I won't do that again. It was very time consuming. It's really high in butter, and when there is a very good product and it's not very expensive on the market,
I know, it's a big chore to make puff pastry.
Yes, it is, and to make sure it comes out right. And this is so easy, and I thought if people were going to have quick summer guests and do something fun and easy, this would be the thing to do.
Well, this is mine. Where's everybody else?
Oh, I don't know. All right, now you kind of use your imagination. Let's take the kiwis and let's just go straight down the middle with them. Now, I just happen to like kiwis, and I'm going to leave a little space
Jackie,
in there.
you live in Pottstown.
Yes,
right?
I do. In Upper Pottsgrove, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You have to be careful where you say people live. They get upset.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband is a township commissioner there, so we've been there quite some time.
I got to meet him last week, I guess.
Yeah.
We wound up at the same office expo.
Yeah. Up in Great Limerick, Springford area. Okay. And you can, like I said, use your mandarin oranges, really anything you want to do this. But when you put it on the table, people realize that you've taken a little extra time for them, and they're really pleased with it. So it really looks nice. And boy, it's very good going down, too. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Let's get there. Find some smaller ones here.
This is very good.
Okay. How's that?
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Like I said, that's mine.
Okay, so we have that one. We'll put this
Your
one over
leaves
here.
came back.
Yes, I saw the leaves, but the glaze is not quite ready yet, so we're going to, it's not quite hard enough. So what I'm going to do is, this is, I think, one of the fun things. Because I'm a parish nurse, I really try to help my people with staying healthy. And this is a great cake to take with you anywhere. And I left it in this pan because many of us have to go somewhere to a picnic or whatever, and we take the the cake in the pan. So I thought, well, how do we decorate this, and how do we make it nice for somebody? This is really a Weight Watchers cake. It's the recipe I got from them. I use the Sweet Rewards cake mix. On there is a recipe how to use it for the no cholesterol recipe and a no fat recipe, and that's what I used. My only addition being I added a half a can of mandarin oranges to it.
To the batter.
To the batter. Baked it just like the directions on the box. But the icing for me is the best part. And Betty, you said you had a mix master for me.
Sure.
And what we're going to do again, I got the Cool Whip and I got the light or the no fat. Either one works quite well. And we'll put it in here. This is a fun icing. You can use regular, you don't have to go low fat. but you can use this regular Cool Whip. And it's 1 box of pudding, vanilla or chocolate. You can use vanilla chocolate. I have used cheesecake if you want a little different taste. So you can use any of the puddings, and it's the small regular size pudding. And you just put it in. You don't add any liquid with this pudding, because the first time I made it I was a little concerned about it, but I found out it comes out just right. Okay, now we're just going to put the mixer on, and I hope it doesn't fly everywhere. Now it will go down. It won't be as puffy, so don't let that concern you. Here it goes.
Smells good.
Yeah. Okay. Now with that, we're going to add, as Emerald says, now you could serve this just like this, and you would be fine, and it's really good. But as Emerald says, we're going to kick it up a notch, and we're going to add crushed pineapple to it. Now I have seen this recipe telling you that you can use with the juice in there. I don't like to do that because I think it gets a little runny. So I take most of the juice out, and I just add canned crushed pineapple. Okay. It calls for 12 ounces, but this, of course, you can't get the can the same size, so I'm not going to use all of it. And again, just beat it up.
You can make another one.
Yeah, I can make another one.
With the pineapple left over.
There you go.
Smells great.
And it is such an easy way to do icing. You don't have to cook it, you don't boil it. And it is so good. Okay. Now, whoops. I just need my spatula.
The spatula?
Yeah, I'll get it out with this. That's all right. Do you want to taste?
Do I want to taste it?
Mm-hmm.
I want to taste it. I got to get a spoon. I just balance this mixer.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty nice. Yeah, I can handle that.
Mm-hmm. So now you kind of just make a box cakes mix, and take this, and then you've got this wonderful icing. You've added just a little mandarin oranges to it, so people think there's no way she made it out of a box. Got this lovely icing, and then if you want to take it a step further, I thought, well, let's have fun with the sunflower today. I was trying to think of things that you might have around the home that you could decorate easily with. I have a friend, her name is Shan Fisher, who's one of the most gifted people I know in just art, very artsy. And I just think, wow, if I were Shan, what would I do? So, and that's how I try to approach this. So I thought today we would do a sunflower. And what I did is I took the mandarin oranges.
You have to move along.
Okay.
Because we have to decorate the other one
One
too.
yet. Okay, real quick. Take the mandarin oranges, and maybe you can use your imagination. We can put them around, and you just make them in a circle. Now, normally I would make a really big circle, but we're kind of stressed, so we'll just put them in a circle.
We brought so many good things. That's
yeah.
why.
And then we'll just put some licorice.
Licorice?
Licorice.
I found a wonderful new licorice this weekend called Australian.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I really was
Okay.
tough. I bought too much, you know, because that means I eat too much.
Actually, black licorice is very good for you and your blood pressure.
I was told it raises your blood pressure.
You know, I've heard just the opposite.
Oh, you're the nurse.
So that was fine with me. Okay.
Oh, that's cute.
And if you want, you can give it a face. You can put 2 cherries on there and give it a little face, and then a piece of black licorice will go here for the mouth. Okay?
Isn't that cute? You got that? Do we have it? Let me. Oh, we're gonna. I thought maybe we were gonna put raspberries in it for the eyes.
That's a good idea, Betty. Let's do that. Okay, that's a great idea. I was going to do the strawberries. There you go. Now you take that to a party
The
and.
camera's this way.
Oh, whoops. You take that to a party, and it looks like you slaved, and you were this great creative person, and you didn't do really too much.
Okay, back to the chocolate cake. Is it ready?
Cake. It's not quite ready, but we're going to go ahead.
You're going to
go? We're going ahead, okay? I recommend that you try to buy a pastry bag. It's not a big investment. If you don't want to do that, a real quick tip, take a baggie, and on this one I just cut a real tiny tip and a little piece off the bag and use that as a writing tip. On this one, if you happen to have a decorating tip, you just take a piece of bag off, put the tip in, fill this up with your Cool Whip, seal it up, and you've got a pastry bag, okay? And you can use them for the quart size too. What I had done before is I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to, now in cake decorating, you never like to be even, you will always want to be odd. So if you want to do flowers or these little swirls that we're going to do, you always do them in uneven numbers.
It's
just kind of
a nice
rule.
cake to a great cake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it.
And now we just take the leaves out, and they just pop out. And I think, can you see those real nice? And they're pretty decoration on them. And then you just put them in.
Oh, makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference, right? And you really didn't do that much. You took a little extra time. Here, since you're that way, I'll decorate that way.
Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. As I said, I've seen this cake before, but as I have the fruit and the puff pastry.
Okay. Now, you can leave it like that. You can go down below and just put some piping around that as well. You can finish it off at the bottom. You can just leave it alone. So you can really kind of do anything that you want with it. And there you go.
And listen, if you make a bad mistake, you can eat it.
You can eat it. That's the great part about this.
Eat, you know, just, oh, I'll make another one. You can eat it.
Okay, Betty?
Okay, Jackie.
How was
Listen,
that?
I think we're sort of getting close to the end.
Okay.
And I'm going to thank you for bringing all your wonderful stuff. It was great.
Good.
As I said, I've seen it before, but every time I see it, it's just as good as the other. And I want to give you one of my cookbooks.
Oh, thank
This is my 3 cups of yesterday,
you.
which, if you watch at the end of the show, you'll see the graphic, and you can send in for
Okay.
one if you want one.
Do I get it autographed?
Oh, I did it already.
okay.
So I put
All
it in
right.
there.
That's
This
great.
autographs is Munch Munch. I have one for each book, a different autograph for each, so I
Okay.
know. So this is for you.
Oh,
Again, this
thank
is,
you.
I'll put it out that way so you can
Yes.
see the color.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you,
And
Betty. It's been fun.
It's been real nice. Yes, it has. We often, we go to the same board meetings. She's on the board, I'm not. And I'm the administrative assistant at the library. And
Right.
we always inadvertently get to talk about food somewhere along the thing. So I want to say, this is Betty Banjack and Jackie Iatestsa for Look Who's Cooking. See you soon now. Bye.
Goodbye.